This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
When your destination is discovery, there are no wrong turns. That's why, at its very core, the new 2025 Lincoln Aviator SUV provides momentum beyond mere transportation. In this thoughtfully crafted and confidence-inspiring SUV, your destination is not about where you can go, but who you can be. Explore more at Lincoln.com. Lincoln and Aviator trademarks of Ford or its affiliates.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you, sir?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen. Don't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen to this.
If you're not of age.
What's of age?
18.
16?
18. We're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast. What up?
What's up, everyone?
Hope everybody's doing good as we move into October. Halloween, the Day of the Dead.
The month of my birth.
Here we go. I know. Big
When's your birthday?
Coming up. Next week? Next week?
16.
Yeah? No, 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, give or take.
But we're next week we're going out.
Yeah,
big
time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm there.
One of my only
definitely
friends,
there.
My only friends.
No, I'm definitely there.
Good.
Sean has the thing.
I've been waiting for an excuse to go out and like fucking drink.
Sorry, honey, I gotta
go. So before we do Sean's birthday, we're gonna do something. It's called the Lost Colony of Roanoke.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather do the birthday.
And that's it.
Yeah. Peace out, guys.
So if you've ever driven up to DC or New York, you have passed Roanoke. Yes. You've seen it. You've driven by it. It's an exit. Yeah, it's an exit on the highway all the way up to DC, and it's Roanoke, right? And so
we should have done that on our road trip.
I know. So this is kind of like very similar to an episode that we did on the Dyatlov Pass.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, where
really
it was,
that episode.
Yeah, where it was a mystery story. Yeah. You know, that sort of thing. So,
but then we see what did happen?
Yeah, what happened exactly? So this is one of the oldest.
You love these.
This is one of the oldest ones of the U.S. This is the very beginning, the birth of America. Okay. This is, at the very beginning. So, and I want to give you a little orientation of where we are. So we're going to take you back.
Yeah.
We're going to take you back, right? So this was around 100 years after Columbus. Okay, so
Columbus, the great fucking piece of shit.
So this is in the 1500s. Yeah. So Columbus already came, and a little bit of time has passed. Yes, exactly.
I'm sorry. I just because Columbus Day is on the 14th. It's coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't we celebrate this piece of shit? He was the worst. He was a total scumbag.
I know.
What a weird part of history.
I know, but that we're still celebrating that.
I wonder who was the guy who was he found America.
I know, all the indigenous people.
Yeah,
they didn't see shit. I found it.
Also, fuck Leif Erikson.
I know, right? Literally.
Yeah, another Eric. I mean, let's be honest. We're a diamond.
He was
dozen.
Eric's son.
Yeah, I know. We're elite. We're elite.
Elite.
Yeah,
You're a leaf.
Yeah. Okay, so the 1500s saw the reign of the Tudor dynasty. I don't know if you've heard of the Tudors, but it's like Henry VIII, Elizabeth I. This is like the King Henry who had many wives.
And he killed a bunch
yes.
of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I've actually been to if you go to in England, I've been to it numerous times. It is Hever Castle.
Okay, yeah.
And that was where
Marie Antoinette and all that stuff.
That was where she lived at that castle, and it's very cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful castle, beautiful grounds.
So I'm just laying the land, like laying the time, like we're transporting you back to this time. So this is Henry VIII, Elizabeth I. Henry VIII broke from the Catholic Church and he established the Church of England, which was separate from the actual church. It was the government being like, we are the church, separate from the actual church. Yeah, it was crazy. This was also during the time of the Spanish Armada. And, you know, this was the age of exploration and the heart of the Renaissance. Shakespeare was writing his plays at this time.
Supposedly.
Yeah. So that just to give you an idea of where we are.
By the way, if you guys haven't heard it.
So just to give you an idea of where we are, like that's what's happening in the world, right? And America is the new.
Yeah, it's like the new club.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And it's also the third largest land. It's this massive expanse, and they're like on a little island, like idiots.
So also, this is 200 years before the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're not quite there yet.
Right.
No. Yeah. It was just like, they were like, this is like discovery.
Yes, exactly. So in 1587, under the ambitious charter granted by Queen Elizabeth I, Sir Walter Raleigh dispatched a group of 115 colonists to establish a new English settlement in the New World. And this was called the Roanoke Colony. Often called the Lost Colony, and it was not actually the first English settlement, but it was the first attempt to make an English settlement. Yeah?
You mentioned being on that crew list. They're like, look, check it out.
Yeah.
It's completely undeveloped.
It's totally fine. Yeah, it's going to be totally fine.
Bring your kids. Yeah. It's going to be fine.
There's gold everywhere.
I'm in.
Yeah. So the colony was established in 1587 on Roanoke Island in what is now North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
The first successful permanent English settlement was Jamestown, and that was founded a little bit later in 1607.
First successful?
Yes.
Roanoke was a huge fail.
So Roanoke Island, located in North Carolina, and this hopeful community sought to lay roots in America. However, shortly after its establishment, the entire colony vanished, leaving behind nothing but enigmatic clues and sparking one of the greatest mysteries in American history.
Yeah.
So that's essentially the story, and then we'll dive into it. But basically, 115 people went to settle this place, disappeared.
God, and it's every time I think about things back in this time, and maybe I'm a weirdo, but I'm like, God, it must have smelled so bad. I'm like, oh, just a bunch of, and they're wearing like.
That's what you're worried about?
Yeah, I know. That's what he thinks about.
Fucking colored bonnets and like fucking wool coats, and I'm like, oh, God. That's the sweat in the.
They did not know about the humidity that's about to hit them.
Dude, I know.
You fools.
So Governor John White, which is, I don't understand why you would be so basic of a name.
I mean, that is like.
Yeah, it doesn't get more.
It's almost not
John White.
Anglo than that.
Yes.
Anglo.
I wonder if he was white.
I'm gonna take a wild guess.
Yeah. So he was tasked with leading the colony with 115 colonists, including men, women, and children. And they arrived on the island in 1587. Upon the arrival, the colonists found that there was a fort abandoned, and which had been constructed by a previous expedition in 1585.
Oh man, I would have been so pumped. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't built shit.
Yeah. It was like a pre-constructed fort. They're like, let's do it.
I know, it's like they got foreclosed on, and like, look, we're gonna squat here.
Yep.
So the new settlers began rebuilding the fort and established relations with the local Indians or Native American tribes, some of which were strained due to previous encounters of the white man.
Oh yeah, they don't speak the same language, and they were just getting constantly like, oh, here, look, this. I have this beautiful hat here. Give me all of your buffalo.
And they brought fucking syphilis and chlamydia and just fucking and they just started banging everybody. And like, how do you get
Those
so?
Indians look good.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Like, did they come over and just start banging people and
Yeah, pretty much.
100%.
crazy.
Classic English.
I know. Yeah. So together with his fellow settlers, including his daughter Eleanor Dare, his daughter was named Eleanor Dare, and his granddaughter Virginia Dare. Virginia Dare became the first English-born person in America.
Oh shit.
So if you wanted to know who was the first person born in America, like a white person, it's Virginia Dare. Yeah.
Okay.
They worked to rebuild the fort and foster relations with the Native American tribes. However, the relationships were complex and strained because of the previous settlements that tried for the last 100 years.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So it was like a never-ending, like, I don't know. Just imagine you come over and you're like, there's 100 years of Indians being mad at you for 100 years of you coming in and just taking
it actually was more
their
than
shit.
100 years. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
Like it's funny because my great grandfather was my
great.
I think it was my great. He was a Buffalo Soldier.
Really?
And it was cool because the Buffalo Soldiers were Union military men, but they were black dudes, and they called them Buffalo Soldiers because the Indians did not trust white people. So they would send them. They were like,
sure.
"Oh, okay, I guess you guys are cool."
Cool.
Like,
They're from the Bahamas or something.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Buffalo Soldier.
No, but they would be the ones that would have the interactions with the Native Americans because the Native Americans were like white devil, and they're like, this is over hundreds of years. They're like, we cannot trust you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric.
Interesting.
Eric. John Eric White.
So it's like. That joke. So, as time went on, resources dwindled. They didn't know necessarily how to farm. They didn't know how to procure supplies. And their resources started to dwindle to where they started to starve.
Cannibalism.
So John decided that he had to leave the settlement and go back to England to get more supplies.
Oh, yeah. Good job. This is for you. I'll be back.
Trust me.
How fucked up is this? It's so messed up. Like
taking a one-man ship. I'm out of here.
So he went back to England. He left his family there.
His family. What a piece of shit. Probably had a side piece.
And he's like, hey, I'm going to be back 90 days. I'll be back.
90 days.
Don't worry about it. I'll be back.
90 days.
He went back to England. They were at war with Spain. And so, like, there was a naval war going on. So it wasn't like you could go...
Yeah, it's like straight shot.
Yeah, like there wasn't like a...
You go like around.
Yeah, it wasn't like Spirit Airlines. And you just fucking pop over real quick. Yeah. So it was significantly delayed due to that war, and it prevented him from securing a ship back to America. 3 years.
Oh, wow.
It took.
Wow.
So then he finally
900
returned.
days. This is 900 days. Easy
Can you imagine you just leave your family and it's like...
Sorry, Virginia, I'll be back.
Yeah. You like go to Paris and you just fucking binge drinking. Bunch of hookers and fucking Jack the Ripper and shit. Just
comes
fucking
back,
going.
he's like 90 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Yeah. So he finally made it back. But when he came back,
it was gone.
He found the colony was deserted.
I mean, they were already dwindling supplies. I mean, 3 years.
Wow.
They're fucking toast.
So he noted that the fort was overgrown, the houses collapsed, indicating that the site had been abandoned for some time. The only clues left behind were the word Croatoan, which is Croatoan, Croatoan, carved into a fence post, and the letter CRO on a tree.
The fuck does that mean? Some like national treasure code here.
So White took these clues to suggest that the colonists may have moved and left to a Croatan island, which is now it's called Hatteras Island, but at the time it was called Croatoan Island.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Where the Croatoan tribe, which were friendly to the colonists, they lived.
Oh, okay. Like, we've now married all of our women off to the Croatoan people.
So so what he thought was that they decided to go onto a tree, write the letter CRO, and be like, "Hey, this is where we went."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll go with that.
He then went to that island. His efforts were thwarted by a series of misfortunes. Weather turned bad. There was a hurricane. One of the ships were damaged, and eventually, the captain of the ships that he was on said, "We cannot go further. We're returning to England."
Damn. Oh shit.
So
This guy is
And
like,
where
John White?
where is
John White,
it?
Father of the Year.
Like
just
still
a few miles down. I
Okay.
mean, 50 miles down.
Okay.
And not like a few, but like 50 miles down. Yeah,
a lot,
it's another
a lot
island.
shorter than England.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
island. Yeah. So apparently, White was devastated as his
after,
family.
After 3 years of like piecing out
So
of his family.
his entire family was gone, including his daughter and his granddaughter, Virginia, the firstborn.
I don't
you
know
know,
who
that
this
sort of
motherfucker
thing.
was like.
Yeah?
Did not shed one tear. Fuck this guy. I'm like, all right, sorry, sweetheart. 90 days. Promise you. I'll be
Here's
back.
what's the crazy part. He never returned. He went back to England. He never came back to America.
Settled into his new life.
The fate of the colonists remain unknown to this day. No rescue mission or thorough search was undertaken after by the English. The mystery lingered and became a tale and a mystery and a legend of America. And no bodies were found. No clothing was found. No personal belongings of the Roanoke colonists were ever found at the site of the deserted colony.
Did they ever?
To this day.
Did they ever explore this Croatoan island?
Yeah.
Like dig?
And nothing?
Nothing.
I mean, they didn't have no. They didn't have any ships or anything, right? They're like.
And it's not
We're
like
gonna
it's
swim. We're gonna
it's
swim.
not like it's Jorge, Sean, and Eric.
Yeah.
And we got like a little camp thing. And we didn't find any fucking Modelos.
We can't survive.
Yes.
And then Eric's like, I'm going to 7-Eleven. I'll be back in 90 days.
It's 115 people.
Yeah.
Women, children, men.
Yeah. Damn.
Nothing. Yeah.
I mean, it does, like, the thing that sucks, though, is, like, since he was gone for 3 years, it'd be different if he was gone for, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
There might be some signs of, like, tracks or maybe you might find, like...
Yeah. So the English were ruthless, and their ambitions to colonize America was very strong. And so they just said, fuck Roanoke.
Place sucks.
No, and then a few years later, they established Jamestown.
Yeah.
Which was the first permanent, like, if you wanted to go to the oldest town of America, it's Jamestown.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I think they also, like, this is like the test case. They're like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, shit, we should probably bring more supplies
And
and
then
like, learn how to cultivate
They
the
straight
land.
up just pieced him out.
Oh, it's so
Damn.
Yeah. So this is 500 years of speculation, of mystery, of I mean, they're some of the dumbest documentaries you'll ever watch in your entire life. Can't wait to watch those.
The little nighttime
And they're like
nighttime
digging,
watching.
literally like 17 hours of them digging. Like, oh, there's an arrowhead. Maybe this was the Roanoke arrowhead. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I watched about 7 hours, and I was like,
There's no,
I feel like a lesser person now having watched
I actually
this.
know less about
Yes,
Roanoke.
yeah. So there you go. That's really the story of Roanoke, and you can go there, and there's all these theories, and we're gonna go over the theories, but they range from murderous Indians to jealousy and
They have, like,
you know what I mean?
candles. Oh,
Yes,
shit, they
and
run
like
around
all
with
sorts of stuff,
food, these
but no evidence.
like little
Again,
the thing.
becomes the
Yeah.
problem.
Little Becky's
Yeah.
looking good.
Exactly. So over the centuries, numerous theories and investigations have been proposed to explain the fate, one of which is the integration with local tribes. One of the most widely accepted theories is that the colonists, they were facing starvation and isolation, and they may have integrated with...
That's what seems like. That's all.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
that
marry
seems
off,
pretty
like, hey,
legit.
Natives.
we got these fine white women here, my man.
Yeah.
The Indians are like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, we'll feed you.
You got a cheeseburger over there? I got a white woman over here.
It's like, look, fair trade. Same.
Now, there's some, like, I mean, this is very loose witnesses that say...
Yeah.
No, I mean, like they say, oh, you know, that tribe of Roanoke and the Indian tribe that was nearby had some white qualities to them. So then that
What
means,
do they define as a white quality?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, receding hairline, blue eyes, big dick, you know.
Well, this Indian's like, seven of the chieftains are bald bearded white men. We think that they got some qualities.
Another theory poses that the Spanish, who had established a presence in Florida, St. Augustine, they destroyed the colony, wiped them out, and that's the theory, is that...
My thing is,
But
like,
there's no evidence that shows that
I don't know how
that they went all the way
how
out.
the Spanish survived when they got to St. Augustine. I like, how the fuck did they survive? Because, like, I mean, you could put me in St. Augustine with with actual supplies, and I would die.
Dude, it's the most humid place on Earth.
Me and my wife
It's
have
just
been there
a
multiple times, and like we go to like the fort, and like I walk around, and then I'm like, I'm soaking wet. Let's go to this super hot bar that the AC doesn't.
How's
work.
that different from here?
Yeah. It's a little different.
I'm
It's a
walking
little
more.
more.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
just imagine wearing like a petticoat or like some fucking some like wool,
Spanish Armada.
yeah, some wool shit, and you're living in a fucking
like a microwave.
Oh gosh.
God.
Some believe that the colonists attempted to relocate to Chesapeake Bay, as suggested by some maps of the era showed that there was maybe a fort nearby, and they went to Chesapeake Bay. So that's one. Another possibility is that the
I like that one.
Another possibility is that the colonists decided to peace out of America, and they got on a boat
and just went
and
like,
got lost in sea in like the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh, how the color comes
I like
together.
that.
I mean, because it's kind of close,
Yeah,
and you
ish.
kind of ish. I mean, you kind of
And
go.
they're like,
if,
they're
you
not
know.
like sea
no,
people. Like,
no.
They're like this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the right way.
It's run by a bunch of women.
They can't drive.
Just kidding. It's a joke. Yeah. We'll keep that in.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Recent archaeological digs have provided some evidence that may support the integration theory.
I like the integration.
Yeah.
I think integration.
Artifacts such as English pottery shards have been found in Native American sites, suggesting that some interaction between the colonists and local tribes.
Yeah, they just said they had blood sausage and beans for breakfast, and the Indians, I don't know what's going on here.
Blood sausage.
Every time I go to England, I'm like, I just can't. It's like, why is it so heavy? I don't need like this much density in my breakfast.
I'm always every time I go to Europe, I'm constipated by like 11 a.m.
Dude, it's crazy.
I know.
And I'm like, God. And then I'm like, oh, I guess we'll have a Guinness with this.
I guess.
I'm like,
yeah, we're like the fat ones. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
How are you all not obese? This is crazy. Anyways.
The story of Roanoke has captivated historians, archaeologists, etc., contributing to a broader understanding of the early colonial endeavors on American soil. But there are hundreds of books, movies, documentaries, fictional movies, all this sort of thing. It's a very much like a campfire story.
Yeah, because there's no data.
Yeah, nothing.
They were there.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
And then they weren't.
Yeah.
And we know that.
Modern archaeological techniques such as ground-penetrating radar, DNA analysis. Now, these are part of the documentaries that you'll want to kill yourself after watching.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they're like, we're going to fucking put it in the ground for 12 hours.
And it was like, nope, nothing here.
Yeah, yes, 100%. And that's it. Yeah, and you move on.
Yeah, they're like,
and you're
sick.
like, fuck.
It was a $2 million grant.
Meanwhile, you invested like a few hours, a few like Heinekens in, and you're like, God damn it, nothing here.
And you're like, cool.
Yeah.
Down, like a thumbs down on Netflix, you piece of shit.
While some archaeological findings suggest potential integration of native tribes, others propose that environmental factors may have played significant roles in the disappearance.
I mean, yeah, like America is not England.
Yeah.
It's not overcast all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like there's like, I mean, some places are.
This is North Carolina too, so there's storms, it's humidity, it's a little bit of Florida and a little bit of north.
Yeah.
True. So you got cold, fucking ass weather. There's all of the things.
Seasons.
Yeah.
And like if they're coastal, they're gonna get like hit.
But again, it's very strange to me because no graves, no.
Yeah, you think there would be like one motherfucker died there and they buried him.
But very little things, and then they just gave up on him. And like the people gave up on him, the family gave up on him.
Any like clothes or anything, nothing, like
nothing. And so a lot of
maybe
things.
They were maybe the Indians just murked them and they took all their shit. But there'd be bodies though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe they took the bodies.
Unfortunately, the difference between this and say Dyatlov Pass is we have like photos and we saw like
this and what
Dyatlov Pass. You know what I mean? Like
Dyatlov Pass also happened like 50 years ago.
Yeah, true. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of like, I mean, we don't even have to get into the whole like theories of how they treated the Indians wrong and the Indians butchered them, but we don't know because there's no data.
No, I could also see, like, even if they didn't treat them wrong, I get to see, let's say, like, you
just, like, happen to run into them.
Yeah,
and
you're in a
like,
tribe, and you're
oh,
like...
shit!
Yeah, and they're like, you see all these people that are like, you know, to you, they're alien. You're like, who the fuck? Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, they gotta be enemies. Fuck them. Like, you know, you don't know this. You're not gonna, like, risk it. And maybe, like, you have, like, heard stories. Maybe their campfire tales are like, these fucking pale motherfuckers come here. And they got muskets and shit.
So here are a couple, like, this would be the stuff that we would talk about at the campfire. Yeah, here are a couple, like, little anecdotes about the story. Yeah. Okay, one is the Virginia Dare symbols. Okay, and she was the firstborn.
Yeah, firstborn, yeah.
She was the firstborn on American soil. She's technically
the first
like
real American.
She's the first real American,
Well,
technically.
except for the Native Americans.
Yeah, I mean,
first,
never get any credit.
never. The first human born on American soil. And the things are like, yo, like, what up, bro? We've been here for thousands of years. Like, losers. Never getting credit. Even by brown people. We're like,
I know, right?
Sorry, Virginia was the first.
Okay. So, her name and the circumstances of her birth have become emblematic of the mysterious disappearance of the colony. Over the years, her story has intertwined with American folklore, including a legend where she is transformed into a white doe by Native American magic. The myth symbolizes the merging of English settlers with the native environment, reflecting deeper themes of adaptation and survival.
Yeah, so we're gonna like check that one off the board. Scratch it. Hell no.
The next one,
Indian witch doctor turns homegirl into.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. This is like where like we have like peyote, and we're fucking smoking the pipe. Maybe this is what happened to Virginia. She became a fucking doe in Harry Potter's fucking.
She's the Elder Wand.
Yeah, she's fucking
made from her femur.
Yeah. Then there's the Dare stones. In 1937, a stone allegedly inscribed by Eleanor Dare, which was the mom of Virginia, was found in North Carolina. The stone, known as the Dare stone, claimed to relay the fate of the Roanoke colonists.
On like a little stone, it's like
suggesting
small, like. Okay, here's what happened.
Suggesting they suffered a series of misfortunes. However, the authenticity of this and subsequent stones found later remains controversial.
I love to see the stone.
These stones, if authentic, would offer a direct account from a colonist about their fate. But again, the authenticity remains.
The thing about that is like
we
carve CRO into a tree, and then she's like, "I'm gonna chronicle this on a stone."
Right.
Check me out here. Like, you'll never know the difference.
Next one is John White's map.
Okay.
Remember John White, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a fucking dick.
I think John White is like organized. Like he was like, I'm gonna invite all my homies I hate.
Yeah.
And then like I'm gonna dump my kids off and like peace.
What like an intricate way to get rid of your wife.
I know, like he's a murderer. And he's like, I came back.
Christ. Yeah.
And he like looks
I swear. 3 years later.
He's like, nope, no one's here. Gotta go.
Yeah. John White, the governor of Roanoke Colony, created a detailed maps of the region. Modern technology revealed a hidden fort symbol under a patch on one of the maps, suggesting that the colonists might have moved inland to a location previously planned for fortification.
How much you want to bet that John White knew where they were and was like, can't find it?
Yeah.
Back to England! He like saw them, he's like, oh shit.
Back to Paris!
Where's the wine? Back to the city!
This discovery directed recent archaeological efforts inland, like Site X, in hopes of finding evidence, providing a potential clue to their fate. But again, nothing was found.
No real evidence, no concrete.
Again,
so it'd be kind of like you came back, you looked for your family, you made a map, and then you put a little X. And then later on, Sean's like, I found fucking John White's map. And then there was an X on it, and you're like, what the fuck is that X? Like 500 years later.
Remember the X like where you like took a shit?
I know.
Don't stand here.
Yeah.
took shit at this X.
Or it's like he buried his diary.
Gold.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. The next one, Spanish involvement. The Spanish Empire competing with England for domination in the Americas, because at this time it was you know, real heated. They kept detailed records of their rivals' colonial activities. Spanish documents reference Roanoke, but intriguingly do not report any direct interference with the colony. The absence of Spanish involvement in the colony's fate, despite their knowledge and proximity, adds another layer of mystery. Meaning,
they were pretty far away though. Like they'd have to send like.
Well, they were up there too. I mean, they were like.
Again, it goes back to not having any info is suspicious.
I know they're like it's sus that they didn't do shit about it.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Like, well, America is like 12 times the size of both of your countries combined.
Yes,
like,
exactly. So again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. It's like literally like. It's so weird that
they didn't know
that they let them be.
Yes, exactly.
Sketch.
I love those. I love them so much. Okay, good. Then we go back to the tree carvings. When John White returned to Roanoke in 1590, he found the colony deserted, no trace of the colonists except for the word Croatan carved into a post and CRO on a tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to have some significance.
These carvings suggest that the colonists might have moved to Croatan. Am I saying that right? Croatoan?
I think it's
Croatoan Island. Other, less well-documented carvings, supposedly bearing the initials of colonists, could indicate their paths or fates, but have not been verified as the same certainty as that original message. Meaning there were other carvings, but everybody agrees that somebody wrote Croatoan into a post and CRO into a tree.
Okay.
Okay, good. The next one.
But then, yeah, why? But see, my thing is like, okay, you do the full word into a post, but only CRO into the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's hard to write on a tree. Like it's.
That is game on.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Have you ever tried to carve anything into a tree? It's fucking hard, dude.
It takes like 6 hours.
In the 1500s.
Dude, it takes a long time.
I'll
takes
be
a long
at the
ass
spot.
time.
Yeah, long ass time.
Send me a pin.
Three letters.
Probably
Probably took them all day.
I know they're like, I'm starving. I can't.
I know.
Keep doing this.
So stupid. Okay, so then there's something called the Satterfield site. In recent archaeological excavations on Hatteras Island, which was formerly Croatoan Island, having covered English artifacts dating from the late 16th century, which could belong to the Roanoke settlers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Items such as parts of a sword hilt and pottery fragments suggest a possible relocation of the colonists to this area, supporting the hypothesis derived from the Croatoan carving.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most obvious choice.
These findings potentially connect the physical movements of the colonists to a specific location. But then the question then becomes, if they moved to Croatoan Island, did they just absorb into that tribe and then disappear?
I mean, it's either
Disappear?
It's either that,
I mean, not disappear.
You know, like
but
after the, like,
it's
just
it's either that. Like I don't
frustrating.
I don't ever foresee like them fully integrating into the tribe. I see the tribe being like, kill the dudes.
yeah.
Like, you know, like or like make them slaves or something.
You're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool.
Come here,
Yeah.
Virginia.
Virginia Dare, huh?
Steve, why don't you come meet me by the fireplace?
I dare you to come to my tent real quick, huh? Stupid.
Put on this blindfold, Virginia.
The story of Roanoke has captured the imagination of many. It's become literature, books, film, television. I mean, you could go do ghost tours.
Oh yeah,
of Roanoke Island right now.
It's so funny you do ghost tours, but there's like no bodies there.
Yeah.
So you're like,
Yeah.
where are the ghosts be?
It's honestly it's one of the ones that are in. It's just American folklore. It's Roanoke.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like at this point it'll never be solved.
Yeah.
Unless we solve it tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we might.
So let's get into the fucking wild ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the real wild ones.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
One of the more outlandish theories suggests that colonists were abducted by aliens.
What did I say?
Or
There
vanished.
ain't no shit left, no fucking clothes, not a one pot, not a one teacup.
Or vanished due to supernatural forces, kind of like an X-Files kind of phenomenon.
But is it X-Files aliens?
Well,
Yeah.
it's also like demons and fucking weird.
I mean, they did talk about the Indian witch doctor. Got turned to dove.
Yes, exactly.
Like, where are clothes go?
Yes.
I don't know.
Some theories propose that Roanoke colonists left the island to live with indigenous tribes, but were later taken by explorers or traders from other non-European countries that made contact with the Americas before Columbus as slaves.
Yeah, they're like, we're saved. slaves.
Yes.
God damn it.
So then they made that transatlantic travel, to Africa, and then became slaves.
God, can you imagine fucking...
And then they were wiped out.
You imagine traveling to a different country on a wooden ship?
Oh my God.
Have you seen Amistad?
Dude.
Yeah. That's a hard one to watch.
Dude, it's brutal.
Set us
Set us
free. Oh my God, dude.
It's
So good though. Like
It is good.
It's
yeah.
all the acting, everything is good.
free.
Yeah, so good.
God, fuck. I know.
Another theory,
like with him on the ship.
Another theory poses that the colonists were either massacred by the Native Americans,
But they left no traces.
or by the Spanish that were nearby in Florida.
Maybe one of the things that I'm talking about, like maybe the Spanish just took him. Maybe the Spanish came in, they're like, "Fuck you, you're coming
done.
with us down to the glades."
Yeah.
I like that.
So maybe that's why there's no
A conspiracy part of it
Introduce you
is
to an alligator.
the conspiracy part of that is that they were massacred and then the English covered it up because they didn't want to deter
the new settlers.
the new settlers of Jamestown.
They disappeared. Oh, maybe they gave John White. John White found the shit.
like
and
that.
had to clean up the evidence. That's actually legit. I like that.
I like
Because
that.
if you think about it, they're trying to get people to settle America.
You know, you
Right.
coming like, what's the track record we got?
Well, the first one, they all got slaughtered and everybody got raped, by the way. Yeah.
But we got a new plot.
Yeah.
Looking real hot.
So that's the conspiracy theory is
I
that
like
the
that.
English government or royalty covered it up and said,
it-
"Oh no, they just disappeared." Whatever. We're not talking about
They went
that.
to habitat.
I don't know. Don't worry about it. Have you heard of Jamestown?
It's like, wait, what did you say?
Yeah.
Guy gets like killed.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy, right? We're going about Jamestown, right?
Ain't it? It's wild, ain't it?
It's in it. What?
There's a cheese there.
No,
Right?
fucking sucker. Sorry, Gamer Dave. Where you at, baby?
Didn't even call it
I know.
something.
Yeah, football, right?
Well, they had like all the
Sorry.
Cockney accents, like an ancient fucking English.
Some suggest that the disappearance was orchestrated or later covered up by the English government.
You know what? If the government's involved, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's solved.
As a military strategy against the Spanish and about settling because they needed settlers coming. So that's
course they
what
did.
we're talking
I
about.
like
yeah.
that theory.
Yeah. Super fringe on the extra fringe. Time travelers.
Oh, my. That's not even fringe. That's just like it's a different universe.
Some have
travelers.
suggested that colonists disappeared because they traveled through time or found a portal to another
They
dimension.
found like a Stargate.
The theory is often supported only by fictional accounts. We don't have any evidence of that.
No shit. We haven't.
Yeah, of course.
Damn it. We didn't find.
We will.
A portal. Fuck. No evidence. But it looked. Wait, what was that one?
But how would we have evidence? Because they went to a different time.
We
Like
will.
Elon Musk- Elon Musk is
We will
fucking
have
wrong.
evidence soon. It's
I know,
coming up.
yeah.
It's- they're like 5 years in the future.
Is it gonna be like the whole like the DB Cooper thing? Like people
Yeah.
on
Oh my
deathbed,
God.
I'm from Roanoke. It's like I time travel.
Oh my God. Last one, witchcraft. Linked to the supernatural theories, some narratives suggest that the colonies fell victim to occult practices or witchcraft, which led to the disappearance. This ties into the broader fears and stereotypes of that time, which was the pagan practices attributed to both Native Americans and the misunderstood elements of the Elizabethan religion, and moving into Salem and moving into like the witches and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I think a lot of that is honestly that's like propaganda by like the Catholic
Yeah.
Church. So like
Yeah.
these pagans are doing all
Yeah.
this weird shit, and they're like,
I
what, are
know.
you what? I'm sorry, I didn't like.
Isn't that one weird? We should do Salem pretty soon.
Oh
Yes.
Yeah. That one's
a
a
good one.
weird one.
Yeah.
You know.
It's super fucking weird because I'm
fucked
telling you,
up.
It's like I'm pretty sure it's like the fucking Goebbels propaganda machine.
I
They're
know.
like, oh, you're a witch. Like there's all those
You're a
memes
witch.
too. They're like, like, your girl cheats on you back in the
Yeah.
day. Like you like fuck,
I
like you
know.
fucking string her up as
Yeah.
a witch. Like it's so fucked.
Yeah.
And it's really easy because people were very like devout
Mm-hmm.
at the time, and obviously the church ran the country. I mean, in
Yeah.
essence, and same with Spain too. The Catholic Church ran Spain.
Yeah.
That's why
Yep.
like that's
And a lot was going on with Henry VIII at the time because he was trying to he he wanted to get a divorce from
And they
one of his
wouldn't let
wife,
him?
and they wouldn't let him.
So he's like, fuck that.
So he's like, fuck it, I'm going to make it my own church.
Divorce,
And it's separate from this,
divorce is
whatever.
totally
yeah,
kosher.
exactly. Because he thought he was godlike. And
Yeah, they were like, I just killed my wives.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get divorced. He died. Whoops.
So there you go. That's the Lost Colony of Roanoke. And, you know, all our truck driver listeners who are driving through the North Carolina and South Carolina areas, and you pass Roanoke, and I don't know. I mean,
Just know that there's nothing there.
there's really nothing there. It's just a bunch of islands, and it's kind of like if you went to, you know, if you went into Tampa Bay and you found one of those islands, and it's got like a few, it's got
trees.
It's got like a few trees, that sort of thing. Just imagine that, but a little bit longer. Maybe a mile or two of a little island with, you could camp there.
Like a little Caladesi Island or one of those.
Yeah. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
That is like not a good place to settle.
I know.
Idiots.
Yeah. I know.
There's like a whole land right there.
No wonder.
No. This is the
Trust
spot.
me.
You're like, bro, there's no dirt. It's just sand.
It's just sand, like water. And
That's
like,
fine. We're going to build a house here.
Look, there's a fort.
Yeah.
There's a fort.
No problem. Yeah. Have you heard of a sinkhole, John? John, you know.
I am the governor.
He's like, it's fine. I'm leaving. And like, I'm leaving like Friday.
I was like, oh shit. Oh, supply run, sweetheart. Sorry.
All right. So I don't know. I know there's not a lot of data, but what's crazy about this is if you went and you were like, I want to look into this more, you could watch 50 hours of documentaries and provide no more data than we have now.
Yeah.
Yes,
We're
literally.
in the same spot as when you started.
Exactly.
Yes, just more confused.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I apologize if it's condensed into a, like, this is just what I got out of all of that. Yeah. And so, I don't know. 115 people. And the main dude pieced out. 3 years later, came back. Oh, nobody's here. I'm out again.
I think that, well, go to the middle here. Mm-hmm. I definitely think that the English government covered it up.
Okay.
100%.
I like that. I like that theory.
I think they covered it up. I think actually what happened is maybe a little vanilla, but I think they probably were starving, and then they probably tried to integrate in or go with, and maybe they took some of them, but not. But I think that there was probably bodies there.
Yeah.
People who died of starvation because there had to be a body there.
Yeah.
One person had to have died there, minimum.
Yeah.
And they weren't gonna take it on the caravan with them.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that when John White came back, and they probably had a fleet of dudes, I think they were like, "Yo, bring the bodies.
Yeah.
Clean it up, make it look like nothing.
We have to get Jamestown going in post haste.
Yeah, post haste. Post haste. They're like, this is a logistical nightmare. People aren't gonna want to come here. Just take the bodies. They vanished. Yeah. They actually all went to heaven, boys. That's what happened. So I think that it was
just bury them. Just get rid of it, right?
They would have found. They would have
found something.
They would have found a bone.
Or a grave, or even a little cross. I don't fucking know.
They would have found something. I think they took the bodies.
But what's the words in the tree? Just some dude leaving his thing.
I mean, it could be like Cassie, Richard, Oswaldo.
Oswald.
I don't know.
So you think that's just not relevant?
I mean, a kid just fucking etching shit. I don't know. It could be nothing. I mean, granted, the Croatoan thing is pretty captivating, but maybe they went and they're not sailors and they just died at sea.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that's the only other logical.
They tried to go home.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it, we got. Yeah. But they didn't have a boat.
Yeah,
because John White's like, I'm taking.
But if they try to go home,
follow the sun.
They went up back on the island. Fuck.
When your destination is discovery, there are no wrong turns. That's why, at its very core, the new 2025 Lincoln Aviator SUV provides momentum beyond mere transportation. In this thoughtfully crafted and confidence-inspiring SUV, your destination is not about where you can go, but who you can be. Explore more at Lincoln.com. Lincoln and Aviator trademarks of Ford or its affiliates.
Starbucks Iced Apple Crisp Oat Milk Shaken Espresso. Made with blonde espresso, creamy oat milk, and spiced apple flavors. It's an icy crisp sip you can enjoy all autumn long. Order ahead on the Starbucks app.
Damn it!
It's true.
The world is flat.
I mean, we joke, but that's literally like
Could be.
Yeah. We didn't think America was here.
I like the idea that they just got to a point where there's like, fuck, we're starving, nothing, like, what are we gonna do? So they started making their way to this island that they knew was there. So that's why they kind of left, word behind because
you gotta leave your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like 2 years later. He's abandoned us.
Also, but did they not have paper? Could you just tie it like do you know what I mean? Why do you got to do like a coded message?
I know.
Just leave a letter.
And they're like,
"Hey, John. Hey, John, I'm south 50 miles."
Damn, that's like
no big deal.
but also, it's like if you're gonna leave, we only have enough time to write one word,
three letters,
one word.
What the fuck are they doing?
They just gave up. It's too fucking hard. I'm telling you. You ever tried the tree? It's fucking hard.
Meanwhile,
I'm telling you.
Meanwhile, fucking Shakespeare's writing Romeo and Juliet across the pond.
Illiterate.
Yeah, and he's across the pond writing the fucking greatest play of all time.
They're like, crow.
I know.
Not even crow. It's like
crow.
What
the fuck is going on?
What do you think?
Sorry. No. Finish your thing. Yeah.
I mean,
What do you think happened?
I just think that they went on their way to this island.
Yeah.
And either
all 115 of them.
Yes.
Are like, I'm out.
Yeah, all of them. Fuck it.
Like
There's nothing here. Like
instantly capsizes.
Yeah. that was, I don't know. I'm fighting between that's one theory, and they somehow made it out there, but they got lost at sea somewhere. Okay, that's like version one.
So maybe they took a boat down because it's 50 miles.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a
They
trek.
ran into the Spanish or something.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Oh
trek.
shit!
No, I think they just ran into some not knowing what to do at sea, and they just got lost and they died.
Jack
right?
Sparrow. Yeah.
Raise the sheet.
Or they went inland, and then this fucking country's huge, and then they just kept going. They just kept going far enough deep in that you're never gonna see them.
The original Trail of Tears.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I really like the theory. I think a lot of them got sick.
Okay.
And then it was covered up.
Oh, definitely think it was covered
Oh,
up.
that's true. I do like that theory.
So maybe half of them got sick and died.
Oh, and then they found the.
But where'd they end up?
And then they all just scattered, meaning.
So they
didn't all go together.
Oh, there was
my family's like, I'm out, and I'm gonna go find my way. And they went to the Blue Ridge Mountains, and some with Indians, and some with this, and some went this way, and some went that way. And then half of them died, and then
when
they
came
covered
back,
up,
and they were like, we gotta kick these bodies out of here.
Yeah, and then they covered it up.
I definitely think there was a cover.
I like that. I do like that.
I really think there was a cover up because they are trying to you're trying to get people to go, and if you're not.
Yeah.
Unless you owe taxes to the government, and they're like you're going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think they're not gonna hard press to really get people to go. They're like, well, my fucking next door neighbor just died there, bro. Where the fuck would I go? I'm living pretty good. I'm like.
I don't really understand the tree.
It really doesn't make sense.
That part doesn't.
Well,
make sense.
they're leaving word behind. They're leaving a note behind to where
they're leaving not an incomplete word.
But it's also it doesn't mean
they did the full word in the fence.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that all 115 did that. It could have been just some crazy ass bitch.
Oh, maybe a new governor took over. And this is what we're doing.
Yeah, it didn't. I know, if we were all in a commune with 115 people, and we were okay, we're all dying, just so you know, I would be like, I'm not really following you anymore, buddy. No. I'm out on my own, and maybe he did something on a tree.
Yeah, I mean,
does that make sense? It doesn't have to.
Well, when shit gets when shit gets wild, maybe he's he just takes all the supplies for himself.
Yes, exactly.
There's a little diversion with the crow. Yeah. Meet me at the Crow Tunnel, folks. And he dips. He's like, I'm out. And they all oh, we gotta go to Crow Tunnel. And he's like, peace.
So the last thing on it is that haunted. There is theories that the island is super haunted. Now, so then I have two questions. One,
it's haunted after some traumatic.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. No, I mean, if you
after
all die
they
of
die,
disease and then.
But why did you hunt it because of disease? You're pissed. Ah!
Yeah.
Hunt the shit out of this place. I got sepsis.
So, but I have two questions on
the
that.
shit out of you.
So I have two questions on it.
Chlamydia, damn it.
So I have two questions on it. One is, do you believe in ghosts? And two, like haunting ghosts. And then two, is Roanoke haunted?
Dude, I do because I lived in, so when I lived in Ohio, and one of the houses we lived in, of the street called Observatory, it was the first house on the street. It was like dude, it was literally like 200, I think it was 200 years old. It was like,
fuck,
dude, it was like
so old.
It was
So
old
old.
as fuck, and it used to be a farmhouse. And dude, there was,
You like crank the electricity and.
dude, weird shit would always happen. And like my parents had multiple stories of like, my mom was not one to like get fucking scared, and my dad too. My dad's like, hey, whatever, like I'm not fucking scared of shit.
Yeah.
And he literally told me the story of how he was in bed, and my mom had a very similar thing happen to her. And he said like he's in bed, and he feels my mom get out of bed. And he's like, oh, okay. It's like Dorothy. He's like, oh, she's going to like bathroom or something.
Yeah.
And then he feels her, like fucking feels her get back into bed, and he rolls over, and there's nobody there. And he's like, Charles, where the fuck are you? And she was like downstairs in the kitchen.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Like literally, he said he fucking freaked the fuck out. Like he actually freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, can you imagine that?
Wow,
like,
that's
you
pretty
feel
crazy.
somebody in the bed,
Totally.
like, and you're like, oh hey.
You feel their aura or their
like the weight. No,
yeah.
Like the weight
oh,
of getting
physically.
Yeah, you physically feel someone get into the bed.
Yeah.
Like I can feel.
That's freaky.
I can feel like when my wife gets in the bed.
Yeah, yeah.
And it like rolls over and she's not there. My mom's downstairs in the kitchen. I was
That's
like,
freaky.
Bro, that is terrifying. So I think that there's some like. I think we had this conversation before
About ghosts and stuff?
Ghosts and, like,
Yeah.
I think so.
Like how like
Yeah.
the effects that, like how much effect can they create? I don't know. I mean, I think there's some.
Yeah, we did.
It's like Patrick Swayze with the penny.
Or he's like, man, like, dude, some of them racing me right now, and I'm like making this pottery.
I don't know what that song is, but yeah, I would sing it right now.
I know it is.
Yeah. I forgot.
I don't want to close. No,
No, not that one.
That's definitely not it.
Okay.
As far as ghosts, I actually
And Roanoke, like. Do
okay.
a
Well,
little
as
bit
far
of
as
both,
ghosts, like I want to believe in it, but I've never had an experience. I've never ran into anything.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Right.
I'm right there with
But
you.
not even like somebody that I knew, like
yeah.
you.
No experience.
No, nothing. So, but I don't know. I feel like it's gotta exist
I'm
somewhere.
with you, man.
I don't think
I'm
that.
glad you were honest about it too, though.
Huh?
I'm glad you were honest about it.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
No,
Now
I know,
we
but
did
some
have this
people are like-
conversation because I told you about that one thing in San Antonio about the ghost of the kids,
the
Yeah.
bus,
pushing.
yeah.
I don't know. Actually,
yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
if it was in San Antonio or not,
was-
but it was
I
like
remember that
somewhere in
story, though,
Texas.
yeah.
No, I forget what episode it was, but we talked about ghosts.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We
I
did.
do remember that.
But Roanoke, I mean, I know you guys
Haunted?
haven't been there, but
Is it
apparently,
haunted?
yeah, apparently it has a thing.
Nah.
Yeah,
Definitely not. Huh?
no,
No
Just
one's there.
eerie.
There's no one there
Just
to haunt.
eerie.
They're just
Yeah.
like there, like fuck.
yeah.
I'm gonna
All right.
damn it.
No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not
All right.
buying that one.
Yeah,
Nah.
all right.
Definitely not.
All right, well, there you guys go. I think we solved Roanoke.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Got our cover up.
yeah.
Classic.
No, I mean, they
Oldest
got,
trick in the book.
I think we kind of all agree, like they got sick or they got murdered,
Yeah,
and
or
then
they died of starvation.
and then the people who came after were like, we're not telling anybody about this.
yeah, they're like,
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we can't drive the property value.
Can't
down.
do this.
You
Yeah.
gotta keep it
Yeah.
on the ups.
So there you go. Prove us wrong.
Yeah, I dare you.
I dare you, sons of
dare you.
bitches.
I'm not dare. I don't want to hear your shitty comments on TikTok anymore.
Yeah. I don't want to
Friend.
TikTok you. Yeah, TikTok.
I know. We will answer, but stop doing it.
All right. There you guys go.
Nighty night.
Hey guys, are you obsessed with us?
That's cool. I am.
Can you
We
just
like
not
that.
get enough?
That's all right. We don't blame you.
We just launched a Patreon and Spotify exclusive content. There are two ways you can sign up for exclusive content. The first is through Spotify. There's a link in our profile description that links you to the Spotify premium page. And that's only $2.99 a month. And it gets you an ad-free experience and it gets you extra episodes that come out every month. The other way is through our Patreon. All you got to do is go to Patreon and search The Conspiracy Podcast, and you'll find us. There are many different levels there. all giving different amounts of content.
And you get a lot of bennies with this, like maximum bennies. No ads.
You get some exclusive discounts on our merch.
Oh yeah, you get access to our. We had a Discord.
Yeah.
You want to like talk to us in real time?
Do you want to yell at us constantly live?
Yeah. Do you want to have free access to cuss us out without any repercussions whatsoever?
Or just simply suggest a new episode that we got to do.
There you go. And on top of it, you get 5 free mini episodes right out the gate.
And then one a month from then on.
What is a
right.
mini episode real quick?
A mini episode is basically a conspiracy or a mystery where it just doesn't warrant a full hour-long episode.
So go to conspiracypodcast.com/Patreon.